SoulCalibur 4.
Yeah, good old bit of SoulCalibur. You know, I actually really love SoulCalibur. Like, my favourite fighting game ever is SoulCalibur 3. Because that game was fucking awesome. Yeah, we're going to be doing a bit of custom characters for this one shot. Yeah, so this is the entire roster of 4. You might wonder what these 2 slots are for. Well, SoulCalibur's always been one of those series that's really weird when it comes to its placement of portraits. So this one here is the random selects one. So put it in the corner, or say press a button to do random select. No, it's right in the middle. I mean, I guess it looks fine normally, but when you're on this screen, it looks stupid. And up here, you can see Yoda and the Apprentice from The Force Unleashed. That's for Darth Vader, because this game wasn't enough to do guest characters on each system. It had to be DLC. Now you got some bonus characters which are all shit except for one. You can actually customize all the characters, which is really cool. And yeah, we're going to go with the normal one. So you see, I've already got a couple of myself and then other characters. But we're going to be starting up an entirely new version of me. So first you have to choose what moveset you're going to use. Like, there's no special ones that are just for custom characters and stuff, like there were in 3. But we're going to go with my main man Siegfried, who I reckon's got the best moveset. This stuff doesn't really matter, I don't think. I think it just determines what the character starts off with, but you can change it anyway. And the alignment is it basically determines who the final boss is when you go through the arcade mode. Well, story mode, but it's just an arcade mode really. You know, if you go for good, you fight Nightmare. Evil, you fight Siegfried, and those two really don't make much sense with the actual endings. And then you got None, where you fight the real final boss, Algol. You choose auto generate, and it makes a preset custom character for you. I have no idea why they went with this instead of just saying here's the default and just start from here. It's just idiotic. So now I have to go through the process of actually getting rid of everything. You look at that guy, he looks so stupid. I've got the headband at least, you know. So some of these things will be pretty consistent with the typical way I design myself in this game. First, I'm going to have to strip down to my undies. Might just go with this actually. No, but seriously I won't. So eye patches, glasses. Nah, nothing really good there. Yeah, there's more to do with custom characters in SoulCalibur 3 when they introduced the concept, because there's a whole mode built around it. And as that mode is really one of the main reasons I want to do SoulCalibur 3 HD online or whatever. Because in that one, it's basically like a cross between like an RTS type game with a fighting game. I'll go with this for now. I know it looks stupid, but you'll see why. We'll see if that looks any good. But yeah, so I'm a really big fan of SoulCalibur. I actually got into the series. I think that what it was I was on Wikipedia and I was reading up on some game, and then it linked to the article for Tekken. And I was like, you know, because I'd been into Tekken when I was younger, and I was like, okay, I'll look into this. And then I started reading about all the links between Tekken and SoulCalibur, because you know they're implied to take place in the same universe. It's like, okay, that's cool. And then, you know, after that, I decided to actually look into SoulCalibur and bought. I think I went for SoulCalibur 3 first because you had custom characters, and then I got 2 later. So 3 was the first one I played. I don't think that's not the reason it's the best to me, but just because it has so many modes and such a great roster and great stages. I just don't think they've actually managed to top it since. And 4 and 5 were increasingly steps in the wrong direction. And SoulCalibur 5 was just awful. And I will be doing a review of that at some point, because it's a kind of awful that needs to be viewed. But the difference between that and like other stuff I'll do for rage reviews, like say, Mortal Kombat 2011 or Halo 4, at the very least with Soul Calibur 5, pretty much every fan will acknowledge that it was not that great. I mean, yeah, the gameplay's fine. I mean, it's just the same Soul Calibur gameplay, but there's so many decisions made with that game that make no sense. Soul Calibur 4 had a few of those too. Like, a lot of the modes are dropped, and the endings are okay. I mean, it's better than what we had in 5, where there were literally no endings. I mean, I think that's absolutely pathetic when you have a fighting game with no endings. But, you know, this game has problems, but it's definitely leagues above Soul Calibur 5. I think this game got a lot of flack from the fans too, and it's easy to see why, but it is still not that bad. And it was the first one with online, so if you're really big into, playing online, you got that. Here's one of the missteps. Like, you can't just choose facial hair for your character. You have to choose a face that has the facial hair you want. So I pretty much always just go with this one, because it's got the right type of facial hair I want. And that's always a bad way to approach things. You want a good variety in the character's hair and facial hair. Some nice dark brown hair. Wash out a bit more. Because this takes place in one of the actual stages, it can get a little tricky because of the lighting. I mean, there are worse stages to have this in, because you actually choose what stage you're in if you go over here. And yes, I'll go with the Star Wars stage, because I think the lighting's a bit more neutral there, except for this red bit. But yeah, so you can always do that to see how the character looks in different lighting and such. Actually, it might be better to change to the other Star Wars stage to get rid of those red bits. See, this was cool that they actually gave the guest characters their own the guest characters their own stage. That was great. That's why it's a shame Ezio didn't get that. You're alone, Phil.
It's really boring when I know I'm going to win.
I don't know, some guy. Sam Regal. That's what I normally go for. It's not that great, but it's better than some of them.
I shall take in your resentment.
Yeah, they're not great.
Kneel before me.
I love these. Well, that was a waste.
You leave me no choice. Effort doesn't equal victory, dumbass.
It's weird. I could have sworn Richard Epcar was one of the voices. I might be thinking of, well, must be thinking of a completely different game. Safe. Need to change my eyes to blue. Well, that is what they are. A bit more noticeable, yeah. Then you can choose the colour of your underpants if you want. I guess you might want, because your character's clothes can get damaged. So I guess if you want to be seen in like red underpants, you can. A nice dark red, because red is awesome, Then we go to the boots, and I will make these. I could go. Now that's a nice one, but let's just see how it would look if I made the black red. There. And the red black. Yeah, that looks good. Can't really make the black any less shiny, but yeah, it's fine. Yeah, they got this special equipment. I can't select it. But that's just there to just items that they're not actually visibly there. It's just for your stats, because Soul Calibur's always been weird when it comes to the way the custom characters actually work. 7225. Yeah. It's always been kind of awkward with how, in terms of how the custom characters actually work, because like they had it where I think it was, I don't know if it's the color affected it, but at least the type of clothing in Soul Calibur 3 would actually affect the alignment of your character. So you choose a voice, but then their alignment determines which lines they use. It's an interesting system, but I don't like the idea that you can't just really properly make the type of character you want. You know? Red or... I'll go with white. Yep. Now I just need to kind of... Thinking belts aren't a separate option, which is dumb. So I might need to... Yeah, I might need to actually... Yeah. Might just find some different pants then. Dueler's breeches... it's not too bad. A lot more at home on, say, Edward Kenway. Ooh, that's not bad. I may well go with those. Yep, I'll go with these. Let's see. This is... Yeah. Yeah, so in this game, the custom characters, your clothing affects the armor. I mean, the clothing affects the stats and that, which is kind of bent because it means in order to get the if you're gonna want to make the character you really want to make, you're gonna have problems actually making them good because they're not gonna have the best stats, and obviously you're gonna want the best stats, aren't you? So it's a bit shitty that they designed it that way. A scarf. The scarf's cool, but it doesn't really work here. Let's give myself a duel's necklace. Nah, it doesn't really fit. Shoulder pads, anything good here? Nah, they just stand out too much. Yeah, I'll go without. One last check for that. Nope. I'll leave that. And I know the headband looks a bit odd with the hair, but there's not really many other options. And I'll just give myself these socks just to increase my stats. So I think it looks all right. So you choose a weapon. You can go with SoulCalibur 4, SoulCalibur, SoulCalibur 3, SoulCalibur. You got native skills for some of the weapons like Requiem, Great Sword. You know. The shiny SoulCalibur that glows. Standard Great Sword. I'm sad to say which is the best one. I've always been quite partial to Gram. I'm not sure why. And then Requiem's pretty badass too. I'll go with Gram. Why not? You see, you got these stats. And see all those points you spend to use these, get these, and that's the thing. Like, in order to make the best character, you need to have such shit-looking armor. Ooh, auto impact C, impact heal. All these really based around like guard impacts and stuff. And I'm not really that good with doing guard impacts. Fuck, I'll just equip that because I might as well. Stats increasing versus amount of soul gauge remaining. A start of battle, all stats are higher for a set time. Well, that could give me a bit of a boost at the start. Soul gauge recovery. Soul gauge really just used so you can use your finishers. Which, you know, the finishers are really tough to pull off because you have to do them mid-battle, and it's also one of those things where a lot of the finishers are actually kind of shit. Because I don't know, it just didn't really work. You know, so like someone will be like sickly with this cool thing to do with his sword, and then you'll have some bullshit with Raphael where he just does his vampire shtick, even though it was never really made clear if he actually was a vampire. They just kind of use it anyway. Double-edged sword. Did you get it? Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah. Name entry. Of course, I'm gonna call myself this. I don't think there's enough space to include room to include the spaces, so I'll just have to go without. Yeah, I'll do. And I will finish. And go back to mode select. Now we're gonna go through the story mode now. See how that goes. Tower of Lost Souls is a bit of a shit mode, honestly. I never really got the point of it. It's just it's hard to explain, but then again, it's not really worth explaining. Just go normal. Okay, so those not really familiar with how a story mode might work in a fighting game. See, there's my other versions. For those not that familiar with how a story mode would typically work in a fighting game, traditionally it would be that you play through a bunch of generic stages against random opponents, but there'll be some story battles thrown in with cutscenes, or the more recent style as shown in the likes of well, pretty much anything by Arc System Works on other studios. It's just loads of fights with actual cutscenes or dialogue and stuff in between. You know, that kind of approach. And with this, it's just an arcade mode, but it's actually kind of really bland, because you have 5 fights, and the first 2 will be, I think it depends on which character you're playing as, but there'll be 3 different stages it can be in, and then the next 3 fights are all preset. And there's certain characters you'll always fight. Like the third one's always one of these shitty bonus characters. You know, it's not great. This is basically just filling you on the basic idea that Nightmare has got soul edge and he's all powerful and what have you. I mean, you can read it if you want, but it's not really important, especially since I'm not playing as a real character. I've never actually played through this as a female character, so I don't know if it would say, would she make history? Yeah, because I don't really know. I never tried it, because in Japan they don't have gender-specific pronouns like that, so it would just be, would that person make history, effectively? Yeah, so we move on from there. Unwavering Conviction. And I have to fight Yunsung, Talim, and Songrina. Why? No idea. I'm just expected to, I guess. Yeah, this is the kind of thing that Mortal Kombat 2011 did. Except it's nowhere near as bullshit in this. I'm not sure exactly how the rounds work, but the MK 2011, it forced you to do these 2-on-1 battles. Yeah, you have to do these like 2-on-1 battles, and you never have a partner. It's like in the entire mode, you never have a single mode where you've got a single battle where you have a partner with you. Aha! I didn't mean to do that. Oh shit. Haha! But yeah, so MK 2011, piece of shit. I don't know why anyone likes it. So I am more powerful. I have won. You get points, it's kind of arbitrary. And Talim is following me for some reason. And I'll just beat the shit out of her friends and her herself. The Black Giant, so I'm going to fight Astaroth. Yeah, Astaroth, 2 generic custom dudes, and I got Talim with me, so I can switch to her. And I can use her, which is useful. Yeah. So some of these characters actually are proper characters from the lore. Like when you're playing as Siegfried, his dead father appears as a phantom. One of the characters was a character that was intended to be an alternate costume for Sophitia. And then you got this other guy who's mentioned in certain characters' bios as serving Nightmare. Then you got these who are just completely random. Oh shit. Actually, let's switch out to... I assigned the switch to one of these buttons, I'm sure of it. No, I guess I didn't. Yeah, I guess I didn't assign. So I'm not sure I'll be able to actually switch out to Talim at any point in this. Boom! I broke something off of him. I don't know what. Probably his boots or something. Yep, so I kicked his ass. And then after those 2 fights, always it shows this little scene. Though admittedly it does depend. This exact scene depends on whether you're in here or on these stages outside the castle on the raft. There, that's where it is. But then it still goes and shows the distance. Yeah, the basic premise of SoulCalibur 4 is so Siegfried and Nightmare, because Siegfried was Nightmare originally, but now Nightmare's a separate thing. Nightmare is Siegfried when he's possessed by the evil sword Soul Edge, and Siegfried, once he's freed from Soul Edge's influence, becomes the wielder of SoulCalibur, the good sword, which may or may not actually be good, as it turns out from this one. Cult's Vanguard. Yeah, fight Ashlot, who has the same moveset as Astaroth, so what's the point? And the weird thing is, this character's actually canon. But yeah, so Siegfried and Nightmare. Yeah, so Siegfried and Nightmare are going to fight each other, and Siegfried has this armor that he needs to stay alive, because without it he would die. But then in SoulCalibur 5 he somehow doesn't need the armor anymore, and it's never explained. Yeah, but there's this weird tower that's arisen out of nowhere, and that's what this whole thing is about. I think. Oh shit! I think if my guy gets defeated, I will still get to switch out to Talim. I'm not going to test that because I don't know for sure. Yeah. I was out for a shot. It's a shame everything's so warped. Then Talim left, and I left Talim in charge of what? Then you have Rar. Still going to fight Zaslamel, Nightmare, and Cervantes. Why Zaslamel's with Cervantes and Nightmare? I have no idea. Just Nightmare is the main villain. Cervantes is another villain. And Zaslamel's just a guy.
Shut up and come on.
So this is like a clash between Siegfried and Nightmare, only not. I'm going to destroy you, Nightmare. See, I'm glad I'm fighting the SoulCalibur 4 Nightmare and not SoulCalibur 5's. Because that version is the like the final boss of arcade mode typically, and he's incredibly overpowered. Like, it's maddening just how overpowered he is. Also, I'm glad this one lets you just stick to 1 round battles, because in SoulCalibur 5 it forces a 3 out of 5 on you. Like, you can't change it. I mean, how did the game get away with that, not letting you choose how many rounds you have? I mean, I just hate it when a fighting like, no, you have to have this number of rounds instead of letting you customize it. I mean, fucking Tekken 2 let you customize that shit, and that was like 97 or something, or 98. No, that was ages. That was so long ago, and that had all this stuff. So why hasn't every fighting game since then done that?
Victory, dumbass.
I don't get it. But I'm going to do a Let's Play SoulCalibur 5 story mode at some point, because it really does need to be seen to be believed just how atrocious the whole thing is. So here's our goal. This is an interesting character. Like, he's one of only 2 new characters in SoulCalibur 4, but he's actually from the backstory. I think far back as SoulCalibur 1, it was mentioned that there was this great king who was immune to Soul Edge's power, and he gave his life to create SoulCalibur, and that's who this guy is. And so he has Soul Edge and SoulCalibur. It's not clear at this point if I think when you fight him he has the real swords, unless you're playing as... I'm not sure if...
The curtain has
I don't know. He has the real swords, unless you're playing as him, in which case he has just duplicates.
Depends on it.
I
I
will
don't know how that would work though if you were playing as Sophia and using the SoulCalibur weapon, but yeah.
stage start.
And they actually brought Algol back in SoulCalibur 5, even though his story is really over. Shit. Yeah, his story is concluded. There's nothing more to be done with him, and yet they decided to bring him back and then cut out some of the best characters. That's why SoulCalibur 5 is so fucking offensive. No! No! Damn you, Algol!
Do you want me to apologize or something?
I don't know what that means, but yeah, I'm gonna have my revenge. I'm going to smack your tits off.
Surrendering won't help. I'll still kill you.
Yep, I'll still kill you.
Stage
You think you can destroy me? Yeah, yeah, come on. Have it, you piece of shit. No, no. See, Algol's one of the, he's not a bad final boss. He's he can be a little tough, but you know, he's certainly better than when you get bullshit final bosses like fucking Nightmare in 5 or like Mortal Kombat 2011 fucking Shao Kahn. I mean, what the fuck was that about? I have slain Algol. It's weird that we're here because then the ending is going to show us in the other version of the stage. See? Now this scene plays out pretty much exactly the same regardless of your character's alignment. It's just that if you chose to be good, you defeat Nightmare and it's Soul Edge. And if you choose to be evil, you defeat Siegfried and you get SoulCalibur. Let me repeat that. If you are a good character, you obtain Soul Edge. If you are evil, you obtain SoulCalibur. There's no logic there. I mean, the logic in the boss is sure, but in the weapon you obtain, no. That's basically the only thing the alignment is used for. It just determines whether you get Soul Edge, SoulCalibur, or both. And your character's down here, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna pick up this sword and be all, yeah, I'm a badass. And that is the entire ending. Pretty weak, innit? His name will be engraved into history and he will live on forever. Well, the name will live on forever, rather. And that's it. That's the entire ending. I mean, wow. I mean, SoulCalibur 3 had an entire story mode dedicated to custom characters. And this just gives you that. So I've got 14,000 gold to spend on custom character parts. Yeah, if there are any more fighting games you guys want me to let's play, you know, because I plan to do DOA 5 Ultimate and maybe a few others. I'd like to do some SoulCalibur stuff. You know, if you guys want to see me play more fighting games, let me know. But not MK2011. Fuck that shit.